Today we're going to be talking about toxic customers, how to identify them, and how to get rid of them. The fact of the matter is, no matter what, if you're in sales, there are customers that you're going to run into that are not worth doing business with. These customers are way more work than it's worth doing. And even your management, when they see the effect that it'll have on you, will not be in favor of you working with them. Because if a customer can come in, take up way too much of your time, and then go ahead and not buy from you and crap you out and make you feel like shit and make your work way worse, they're not going to want you to work with them. So it's critical for you to identify these customers and then with the blessings of your management, decide not to work with them. The first thing to keep an eye out for is incredibly high expectations, but with very low reward. These are customers that are looking to actually spend an incredible amount of your time with no idea of when they're looking to purchase and with constant reminders that they're obsessed with getting the absolute lowest price. So your best bet with these customers is to try at first to identify if they're truly going to become toxic. Are they going to take up an incredible amount of your time without actually providing anything to show for it? Now, second thing that I want to stress on is why these customers aren't necessarily the customers you want to work with. There's a three-pronged attack that a toxic customer will have on you. And I got to talk about what those three things are. Number one thing is a toxic customer will take up an incredible amount of time, usually with no respect to setting an appointment. Second thing is just because you spend a lot of time with a toxic customer doesn't mean that they have any intention of actually purchasing from you. They have no regard for the time that you've put in working with that customer. Third thing is these kind of customers are blatantly disrespectful. They're going to say rude things. They're going to dismiss you. They're not going to listen to the things you say. They're going to ask you to repeat yourself 5, 10 times on the same topic just because they aren't paying attention. Perhaps they're on their phone playing a game while they're talking to you. I mean, it's absurd, but they will greatly affect your mood because you're going to feel disrespected. Now, again, depending on the customer, some customers will, make you feel a certain type of way, but that's not anything to just disregard them for. You have to really identify that they're taking up way too much of your time. They have no intention of actually buying from you, and they're really negatively affecting your mood because perhaps they're really rude, or perhaps they just don't have any respect for the things that you say, or every time you tell them something, they go and call you a liar or say that you don't know what you're talking about. These type of people are not worth doing business with. Now, on the third thing, I want to talk about a mistake that a lot of salespeople make right at the start, and that is getting in bed with the bad customer. Now, I don't mean sleeping with them. I mean working with them and working it so hard for hours and hours, 10 times as much as you work with another customer, just to finally make the sale because you're not willing to give up. And you finally convince them, giving them the absolute scrape it by lowest price at the same time is way off schedule and wasting everybody's time, and they're still complaining and they're having a horrible experience and they're probably going to write you a bad Yelp review. You still manage to sell them a car. And you close the deal, whatever the sales job that you're doing is. You close that deal, and guess what? Now you're in bed with them. They are completely attached to you at the hip. This customer that you never wanted to work with, that's only brought bad vibes, is completely stuck to you. And because you sold to them, they've got something to show for it. When they need something from you, they're going to call you. They're going to send their horrible friends your way. This is not a customer you want to work with. By the time that you've sold them a car, you've put the nail in the coffin. You are stuck with this customer, maybe for life. So just know that if you do make it to the end and you finally manage to, just through might of will and just time, actually sell this person a car, they are going to be toxic after they buy the car from you. This is not the end. They're going to call you 3 weeks later talking about a scratch on their car that wasn't there when they left, but now they want you to pay for it. Oh, if you don't fix it, I'm going to call Audi of America and talk about how horrible it makes. These are toxic customers, and believe me, you want to avoid them if at all possible. Now, the fourth thing to remember, and this is the absolute biggest part of toxic customers, is the opportunity cost of working with them. When you have a customer that you spend an incredible amount of time with, and then you scrape by and sell them for the absolute lowest price because they demand it and they won't leave until they get it. And then you go and you actually make the sale and you're so tired and you can't even think straight because it's such a hassle. It was such a wrestling match just to get to the end of the deal, and you finally sell them a car after 3 days of work. you've given up an incredible amount of time that you could have spent with better customers. So I'm not saying that the difficult customers are not worth working with. I'm saying that there are a certain number of customers who have no respect for your time, no respect for you as a salesperson, and aren't ever going to be happy, that are not worth working with. And I implore you, release them on the competition and let somebody else take that bullet, because you do not want to get in bed with that customer. And more likely than not, you're not going to sell them a car anyways.